Okay. Hello everybody, thank you for coming along. Thank you to Simon and the team for inviting me. As Simon said, my company is Chimera Communications. We're a public relations and marketing consultancy. This company is 13 years old next month, in a few weeks' time. Again, as you said, I've had over 30 years experience in PR, sales and marketing, because I started when I was 3 months old, clearly. Thank you. I'm a fellow of I'm a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Public Relations, of which there are only 313 others in the country. I'm also a fellow of the National Association of Estate Agents, but we'll talk about that later. I don't often admit to that one. I've worked either in-house or with clients from mostly every sector over that time. The reason I say this is because it means that I've experienced the majority of business issues that each of you will have had. I work now with start-up companies right up to government departments and everything in between in every sector. Okay, so I understand from Simon and the team that you guys collectively have asked how to PR your brilliant creative website. So thank you for actually recognising that PR is important. Public relations, as opposed to marketing, is all about communicating. It's about influencing and educating the people who matter, the people who are going to be your purchasers of your products or services. So it's about sustained, planned efforts throughout the years, throughout the months, in getting the right messages out to the right people in the right way and at the right time. So those of you, and the one person here I think who hasn't got a website, who won't be named and shamed, but those of you who have creates brilliant websites and others, this is your window to the world. This is your global shopfront. This is the way you showcase your products and services. So the aims of your website are to engage with those influencers and decision makers, to build a relationship. Not necessarily overt selling, you're trying to build a relationship with the people who matter. You're trying to influence and educate and persuade people to actually buy things from you. You're trying to get new customers, but you're also trying to get those customers who are existing in your database to repeat their business, because it is 17 times more expensive to get a new customer than it is to actually deal with a customer that you have already. So your customer database is phenomenally powerful to you. So repeat business is phenomenally important to you, not least of which these can be your brand ambassadors. These can be the people that talk your story up for you. When I said to a training course just recently, and I said to the delegates, what's the difference between PR and marketing? A few people sort of had a guess, but one guy stood up and said, well, isn't it all about getting other people to tell your story for you? And I thought that was a beautiful, succinct way of putting it. I had all these highfalutin definitions from all these chartered marketing places and what have you up on the screen like that. But he put it in a nutshell, really. It's all about getting people to talk about you in a very positive way. Those are your influencers. So also, you're trying to enhance your reputation through your website. And I would argue that your reputation is your most important asset. There are some people who will say your team, your staff, your people are your most important asset. Other people say premises or stock or whatever. But if you have the most wonderful people, if you have the most wonderful widgets you're trying to sell, if you have the most wonderful cars in your car fleet, etc., but your reputation is on the ground, you won't sell in any of those widgets. There won't be jobs for all those wonderful staff. You won't be able to afford your car fleet, etc. So I would argue that your reputation is actually your most important asset. Just my opinion. And your website and your brand ambassadors, etc., will differentiate you from your competitors, as Lindsay was commenting on earlier. You need to stand out from your competitors. So up there you see an image of a very sort of warm, fuzzy, welcoming, heartwarming shopfront, if you like. What you're aiming for is something that is easy to find, easy to navigate, so people have a really good customer experience when they get onto your site. Content that is fresh and interesting and relevant and of value to them. Not just stuff you want to put up there because you think they want to hear it. You're trying to actually see things from your customer's perspective. What do they want to see, to read, to learn from you? It needs to be of value. It needs to be tempting. People need to think, gosh, this is so interesting and tempting that I feel like I like them. I want to buy from them. I want to look through this website. I want to see what's going on. They want to find out more. It needs to be simple to understand. Some websites that we all suddenly arrive on have got so much jargon, have got so much text, have got so much of everything that you just don't want to do anything with it. It needs to be simple to understand. What is this company doing? They make this sort of product. They offer this sort of service. It's clear, I need it, I want to buy it. Have an opt-in to emails and newsletters to start building up that customer database. That's also a phenomenal asset to you. You need to put regular updates and offers, seasonal discounts. You need to be looking at your peaks and troughs of your business if you have them. And try and preempt that. If you know your business is going to dip in the summer, then do something early on in the year, plan it into your strategy to actually accommodate that and make sure that you have revenue coming in throughout the year. And the result of all of that is going to be a relationship. We're not about overt selling in terms of PR. We're not about selling through a website straight away. We're trying to build up that long-lasting customer relationship because they will come back again and again. On the other hand, if you saw something like this, you wouldn't find that so welcoming. You wouldn't want to stay on the site. It looks like it's gone out of business. Difficult to navigate. Probably doesn't say how you get from A to B on the site. Visitors will go elsewhere. Result, no business. So what do you do to actually promote your website? The first thing is, if you've got your shiny new Create website, to go out and tell people, have you seen my new website? Everywhere you go, you're telling people, word of mouth. You're getting the viral effect going, the ripples of communication. Easy, free, no problem. Social media, as Lindsay was saying earlier on. All those different channels, all those different ways of communicating to all your different audiences. And you're communicating in different ways, as Lindsay said again, different ways, different tone of voice, different language to different segments of your audience. Blogs, vlogs, video blogs, all go some way to helping you build your database. You're directing people through other channels to your website. If anybody does have them on Blogger or WordPress or whatever these days, redirecting through your website. Video series, how to do things, how you make your widgets, your products, how you offer your services. Series of videos that are very, very effective, and videos, as we've heard tonight, are the way to go. The reason for that is that people take in far more from seeing and from animation than they do from reading text. So again, we're talking about anything that adds value to your website. So even if you think, well, I'm a gardener, what can I possibly do? Well, I don't know if we have any gardeners in the audience, but tips, seasonal tips for example. How we do so-and-so, how we plant so-and-so. This is the amount of waste we take away when we do this to a garden. Anything that might sound common or garden to us is probably very interesting to the potential customer. So have a think about how you could do that. Podcasts, little interviews, also very powerful. And anything that enhances that customer experience on your site, because people will then go and tell other people. I mentioned earlier on brand ambassadors, people who can talk your story for you, can tell other people. I've been talking earlier on and doing a little bit of networking. There were one or two people, and I'm sure there are far more than that, who said some wonderful things about Simon and his company. And a testimonial on the website, or a selection of reviews on the website. Again, very, very powerful. 78% of people trust recommendations from their peers, from their friends, from their family, from their contacts and colleagues. Only 14% trust adverts these days. Again, that speaks for itself. You can have endorsement and credibility by inviting guest bloggers to post on your site. So again, influencers and decision makers who could actually impress other people and could then promote your website for you to all of their contacts and their social media connections. Reviews, I mentioned earlier on, again, very, very powerful. 1 out of 2 people actually put a review up. And as we trust those reviews more and more, that's a very powerful way of getting that endorsement and credibility. Consistent promotion of your website. There are loads of people who have wonderful websites, but don't actually put the web address anywhere at all in their marketing material or on their email footers. What a wasted opportunity. I have got some of my own promotional merchandise for my company. I actually only put the web address on there. No phone number, nothing else. It's all on the website. I want to direct people to my website. Another great way, for example, with branded t-shirts or fleeces or anything like that, if you're going outside, is just to have your website actually printed on the back. Especially with people who are in the trades, because as they're bending down to do landscape gardening, electrical work, whatever, that's what people see. Sounds obvious, but a lot of people miss that opportunity. Mentioned email footers, that's how we get that virality going, because as emails are passed around, the messages at the bottom will actually flow outwards. So again, free, no cost, change messages every week. Have you seen this on my website? Have you seen that on my website? Doesn't cost anything, it's so easy to do. Taking a strategic, planned approach to promoting and PRing your website, just as you would with anything else, is absolutely vital. It doesn't mean writing reams and reams of pages of text. It actually means just planning, organising, working out what you want to achieve, then working backwards as to how you're going to get there. So how do you get business, actual pound coins, and probably more than that, from your website? Well, I think we mentioned earlier on search engine optimization. Can do that. These days, content is probably far more effective. So I know that Lindsay was talking at length about content earlier on, and starting with blogs and working out with sharing everything through every possible channel that you can find. It's very effective. Pay-per-click obviously will cost, but you can set a budget. Facebook and Twitter ads were mentioned. Retargeting, remarketing it can be quite costly. That is when a customer lands on the site, and then you see afterwards that customer will see, strangely, adverts about that site. So it's using where you've been. And if you're wondering, for example, if you've been somewhere and you suddenly see something a bit later on another site, that's in a nutshell what retargeting, remarketing is all about. Can be quite costly though, so you need a good budget for that. Really good, safe e-commerce site. Of course, you're going to get that created. It goes without saying. And anyone who's not a customer must be by the end of the day. And media coverage. If you have something, if you do something that's innovative, that's new, that's eco-friendly, for example, that's achieving something that very few other websites achieve, or that you are showcasing your services, and they are very rare, unique, or at least interesting, then let the media know. Because each time you appear in the media with a really good story, That's also searchable on Google because they will put that up there. It's online. And that gets you extra points in the old Google rankings. Collaborations and partnerships with other companies also. If you can partner up with a similar business or a business where there's some sort of link, you can promote each other's websites, you can link to each other's websites. And you can exchange offers and promotions, etc. You can attract if you want to, and if it's appropriate only, and for some businesses it isn't. But you can get some revenue through advertising on your website. Or you could get sponsored by somebody. Again, it's not appropriate for all businesses, but there are cases where you can actually get sums of money that are quite tangible and realistic and helpful for you to do something else and build other things onto your website. Anybody? Monitor your goals all the way through. And if you think that you can't actually measure the return on investment of your website and the power of PR, well, actually you can. You can do this through analytics, checking on your website visitors, social media analysis. You can actually do stakeholder surveys, which we do quite a lot of, anything from a sample of 10 up to 1,000, to find out what your customers actually think and feel about you and what they actually want to hear from you or to see on your website, rather than assuming that everything that you want to push out is relevant to them. You could be wasting an awful lot of effort and resource uploading tons of text or images, blogs, vlogs, podcasts and everything else these days, if actually that's of no value whatsoever to your customer base. And of course, leads and sales you can monitor through having codes. There's no point putting a campaign out there if you don't actually monitor the results of it. Actually asking people, what do you think? Good old customer feedback. Mystery shopping, again, is quite powerful. We go in, we pretend to be customers, clients, so beware out there. And we report back to our clients as to what we've found, what the service is like, whether the products have lasted very long. And editorial coverage. How often are your stories in the media, online or print? So the result, raised company profile, you're managing your reputation, you're on top of things. You know if someone's saying negative things about you, and you can turn that into a positive straight away. You've got more control over best value from the money that you spend on your communications. You can deal more effectively with crises, and make no mistake, they can happen to anybody at any time. That's the only time when I'd say to you, use a PR professional. A lot of this stuff you can do yourself, but if you have a serious crisis, and I've been involved in quite a few for my clients and in-house in corporates and not-for-profit organisations, then do get professional people in to help you. Positive perception is an outcome, a return on investment. Bottom line is, actually more business. Thank you very much for listening.